So, you're either looking into webcams or you're down a rabbit hole. But webcams have become a staple for home office, virtual school, and my favorite, streaming. But which one should you get? Or better yet, what one should you get? You'll understand that in a second. You see, I can't really compare webcams as they all pretty much do the same thing within a set price point. Either 720 or 1080p at 30 frames per second at the more budget end, or even 1080 60 and 4K 30 at the more high end. But what if I told you there are other ways to get great image quality that are not technically a webcam, and one of them is even free? Kind of. Let me just show you 4 ways to stream and record yourself at different price points and quality. I did mention there was a free one, but there's a catch. You see, when I started streaming, I was in the need for a webcam, but they were at an all-time high. Yet, I still had to get my face out there. And the solution I found is something that you might have in your pocket. An iPhone. It also works for Android. You see, you can use your front-facing and back camera as a webcam with an app. The app we're using specifically this time is Epoch Cam. I've already done a full video on this, but with a different app, and you can check it right up here. It's free and intuitive to use. First, let's go find it on the App Store and download it. Launch the app and choose whether you're using a Mac or Windows PC. After this, just follow the instructions and download the drivers for your machine. If you're using a wireless connection, make sure you're within the same network, or just connect a cable from your phone to your PC. And that's it. The free version allows you to record or stream yourself at around 640p. But for $7.99, you get 1080p, HDR, and a ton of other features. And for that price, it's practically a steal. Kind of. You see, I know that this is a $1,000 phone, and not many people have the money to buy this. But this right here is an iPhone SE, and even though it's getting dated, it still provides great image quality from a 2 to 3 year phone. And for just showing your face on camera, for school, work, or just streaming, you probably don't need more than 640p. But most phones nowadays have great cameras. And jumping back to this guy, this is basically a glorified camera with phone features. You'd be amazed at the camera quality that these phones provide. Hell, even my first videos on the channel, even the ones that have 30,000 views, were recorded on this guy. My point is, don't discount what you already have in your pocket and use the best camera that you have. You might not have to use my next webcam that I'm featuring, which is the legendary C920. I just did a full review on this guy, and it's what prompted me to make this video. And you've probably already seen this webcam everywhere, which means I won't really bore you with the details, and I'll jump straight forward to the price and its features. The C920 Pro allows you to record and stream full HD at 1080p by 30 frames per second. This can be reduced further to 720p. This is the great image quality, and you probably won't need anything more. The lens offers a 78-degree field of view, which is a pretty wide angle. Straightforward, no nonsense, all webcam. The quality, well, it's a webcam. We don't expect much, and it does its job. And for the price and how long it's been in the market, it does it great. I'd use this one if I didn't want to use my phone, or I needed it at hand, or if I just wanted something that's plug and play and I wasn't so concerned about the quality. It's also a pretty inexpensive option for such a basic webcam, and if you want to learn more about it, check the link above. Before we get into the upper echelons of quality, we need to talk about this guy. This is a capture card, and it's used to project the image from your camera onto your streaming software. Generally, cameras tend to have an HDMI port, and this is how you can connect it. But here's the thing, this guy's worth about $30, and it can get up to 1080 by 30 frames per second. Then you have this guy that's worth about $130, and it can go all the way up to 4K 30 or 1080 60. Guys, I use about an $1,000 system, and I still use a $30 capture card. But if you want that buttery smooth 4K, which you do not need at all, but you can afford it, go ahead and get the Cam Link. I just can't in good faith recommend it being so expensive, and then again, I haven't really used it, so take that with a grain of salt. Moving on, using a capture card are GoPros. And no, I'm not talking about that extremely expensive but amazing GoPro Hero 9, but those more budget GoPro Hero 3s, 4s, and 5s that are used and on eBay. These have really wide angle lenses and can get up to 1080 by 30 frames per second. Do you see a trend here? You can get these for around $40 or up to $100 used, and the quality is just the same or even better than a C920. It's also future-proofing yourself if you want to invest in a mirrorless camera down the road, since you will be buying a capture card for this. You might want to tweak the exposure or saturation and correct the image because they don't have the best low light performance, which means you will need to get that good lighting that all cameras need and use. Now, the issue with these older GoPros is that they don't have what's called the clean HDMI out, which is why you might see all the information on screen. However, since they have such a wide angle lens, you can simply crop it out and position yourself accordingly on screen. Something you will see, or rather not see, is that shallow depth of field, which at this price point, honestly, you won't get. Now, who in their right mind would spend over $1,000 on a webcam? Someone who strives for quality. For me, this is the most extreme you can get without diminishing returns. And even then, it might be pushing it. With the same $30 capture card, I'm using a Canon M50 Mark II with a Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens. Now immediately you'll notice the beautiful quality as well as the bokeh or the blurry background. With mirrorless cameras from most companies, you'll find that each of them have proprietary software in which you can use the camera as a webcam, usually through micro USB or hopefully USB-C. Once again, I've done a full video on this, so go check it out and see if it fits your need. Personally, I like to use the capture card as it's better quality, easier to set up, and I happen to own one. But I also think that companies still have a long way to go before they can overshadow capture cards in this regard. But having the option to use a cable you probably already have to use your camera as a webcam is pretty nice. It's actually one of the reasons why I went for the more expensive Canon M50 Mark II instead of the original one. You can also use something more expensive like a Sony a7S III or a cinema camera, but dude, that's way too much. With compression and streaming at 1080p, even my humble camera might be too much. Will it make your stream better? Well, quality-wise, maybe. I've gotten tons of compliments from people just jumping into the stream and seeing the quality of my camera. But having them stay is up to you. It definitely won't get you more subs or viewers. But if you're striving for the best quality, this is it. Now, with all that said, what would I suggest you get? Well, honestly, you just can't beat free. If you already have a decent phone, even an outdated one, give Epoch Cam a try. Your phone camera is incredibly good, especially on newer iPhones with their coloring technology. It will beat any webcam and blow it out of the water. And if you've already invested in your phone, well, you might as well. If you do want an upgrade path, I suggest you go with a capture card and start out with a budget GoPro, and then down the line, get yourself a mirrorless camera. And if you already own a mirrorless or DSLR camera, go and check out if it's compatible with all the software. On some cameras, you can remove the info, and some of them might already have clean HDMI. Industry standard webcams are in a tough place. They're just not that good anymore. And while some may have good options and features on paper, like the Logitech Brio or other higher end ones, the price tag and other options, namely your iPhone or a GoPro, just completely outweigh the benefit of having plug and play. That being said, plug and play is still a factor to consider, and that's one of the reasons why they're still a thing. And there you go, guys. Those are my 4 options for webcams in 2021. The question is, which one are you using? And are you using any other form of webcam? Let me know in the comments down below. My phone got me started in content creation, so I might be a little partial. But if this video was useful, remember that a like and a sub go a long way. I'm gonna go take a long break. See ya.